Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. If we get interrupted, I'll just work through it. It'll be okay. I had a really good morning. I got my driver's license renewed. It's always a concern for me. I was standing in, the little bit of a line that we had at our small city office there, the DMV. There was about a 85-year-old man in there, and I don't know if he could sense I was a little nervous or what, but because you never know if your eyes change and you can't read, or whatever. But he says to me on his way out, he goes, "It was painless." And I said, "Thank you. I was worried about that." He goes, "That's the same thing I say when I go to the doctor," he says to me. I told him, "Oh, well, you have a nice day." But how nice he could tell that I was a little uneasy about it because, if I hadn't let it lapse when I was sick, but I actually was too sick to even go and get it done, then like I said yesterday, I went to take the test to get a new one, and I failed the test. I'm like, what? No way. So then I had to psych myself up, like, how many times have you done this? You can do it again. So if you already did it once, you should be able to do it again. That's what I figured too. And I mean, I studied for it. It's just that I think I really wasn't feeling good enough. I had like a skyrocketing fever from infections. I had a deviated septum, and then with my allergies and different things, but I had to have it operated on. An infection had built back up in there, and then I had some teeth knocked out, cracked, and they got infected into my jaw, and so they had to take those out. It was like almost first what got it infected is I got a gold crown put on it, and they thought it was going to be okay, and I had all my teeth at that time. But it got infected with the crown underneath there, and so I had to have 3 of them removed because they all were cracked right down into I got hit so hard, it cracked them right down into my jawbone, my jaw was broken. I had problems, to say the least. But so I, with all this infection that I had going on within my body from my allergies and that cyanitis, I have chronic cyanitis, and it's like, well, whatever. So I just went and took it again on another day, and I passed it. But, so I was thinking today, my eyes did heal where I can drive without my glasses, because I had them even when I was a kid for driving. And then after my stroke, I needed some for reading. But then I thought, I've adjusted my eyes with this type of thing before. I can do this, So I just force myself. I'm doing pretty good. I'll grab like a magnifying glass for tiny, tiny stuff, but I rarely even need to do that. So I do believe we can, for the most part, heal ourselves. See, like I say, I have a mark right here on my eye. Not touching my eye, but I have before. It doesn't matter. I have the scar on my eye from a piece of metal going in there from a drill press, and it just zinged, and it zinged right behind my safety glasses. And you would think, how could that ever happen in a million years? Well, it did, Anyway, crazy. Doug often gets chunks of metal and rust and things in his eye. He has to go get them removed. They have this special tool, but it used to be they'd actually use like a forceps, and they would numb his eye and pick them because he does body work, metal fabrication. I was working at a metal fab place when that happened to me. Wow. That's, you can't even see. If you get a piece of metal in your eye, it wipes you out just almost automatically. I was lucky I made it home. Then I went to go to a doctor, that the only one that had this machine that could take this out of my eye, and he wasn't there, and they didn't call to cancel, so I traveled to this other town. I used the back roads. I had this golden lab, my dog, in the passenger seat, and if I started swerving towards the ditch, she'd kind of go like that, and because I couldn't see, my eyes were watering. So I get to this town, they tell me he's not going to be there, so I go back home. I'm like, and it makes you nauseated too, and dizzy and everything. So I spent a couple weeks recuperating, and I didn't make another appointment out of stubbornness. Well, I was pissed. I wasn't going to go. Yeah, we was the only one around. Well, it scarred over, and it still had I had a problem with it. But then I went to have one of those magnetic readings for other things that were going on with me, and it sucked it out of my eye, which could have been dangerous. Come to think of it. I was thinking about it when I was in there, because they checked me before I got in there for any metal. But, they were checking, other parts of me, like they scanned me, they stood me up and they scanned me, and that was a trip. Scared the shit right out of me, because your blood vessels can pop in them things too, Anyway. Yeah, that was a trip. Ooh. So anyway, it was a great morning, and I had heard the lady on Melinda off Out of the Dark. She had gone to Dollar Tree and got same thing I was gonna go and get, only I needed some other things too. But like leave-in conditioners for my hair. And I got this one I'm trying right now. Oops, I'll swing it forward. It's not as ratty looking right now, and it's pretty shiny. But yeah, and I got about like 4 more of them too, to try and see what I like best, what works best. This one guy called Anna's dad had trouble combing his daughter's hair, so he went to the lab, evidently a lab technician or some kind of scientist, and he went to work formulating this stuff for his daughter, and the product's called Anna's Dad. It's like, oh, okay, I'll try this, so. And then I got my kitties a toy each. So, and some kitchen stuff and some cleaners, and yeah, I always love getting fumigated from like bathroom cleaners. I just sprayed my shower down, It's like, whoa. Anyway, if you ever want to catch a buzz, I think, or maybe it's just toxin and toxic rather, and I'm going to pay for it later with interest, just like these wicked freaks of the Dark Cabal. they think it's funny now, holding their fingers up over their eyes and paying homage to the dark force, while everybody else suffers because of their poor influences, and the children are put in danger in several different ways because of their laxness as moral human beings, you know. Yeah, but they think they're all cute holding their symbols and signs up, and yeah, well, they'll pay with interest for their dirty deeds. And my favorite part in the scriptures is it's better to have a millstone, or wait, no, not that one. It's different. Doesn't start like that. If you lead a child away from God, it's better to have a millstone tied around your neck and thrown into the sea, or something to that effect, you know. Millstone for like grinding flour. They're huge. They're made out of granite. You've probably seen them like on shows, like big ones. They'll have like an oxen or people pushing on these wooden bars, and usually grinding wheels go like flush with the grain, but I have seen them, what would it be, perpendicular and parallel, I do believe. But yeah, a big stone. It's got the wheel, the cogs in the middle, and then they turn, you know, and it grinds the flour. So there's a lot of them in our state. I had a lake home, and the mill pond was across from my house. There was a road going around the lakes. They were connected, and my dock was down there, but it was actually, there was a channel going into the mill pond off of the big lake that went into a middle lake and a little lake and another little lake and another little lake. So kind of a little chain of lakes. We got a lot of, in Minnesota, chains of lakes with rivers and creeks running in and out of them, and yeah. So they say 10,000 lakes, but there is more. That's just ones that are, I think, to be considered a lake, it has to be over an acre, maybe, or maybe 2 acres. I don't know. It has to be bigger than a pond, you know. So, but there's some awful big ponds people have too. So, yeah, nothing too horrendous to talk to. Just shooting the breeze with you while I've got some time, or I'm taking the time. I've got some other things to do yet, but if I get them done, not a big deal. We did get that pepperoni. We're going to try them tortilla pizza things, and then you dunk them. I think we're going to use ragu sauce. We've got different sauces, but spaghetti sauce. But you take a tortilla, you put, like, if you have, like, if cooked vegetables, a little cooks because you don't want them raw, and these are really quick. So if you want, like, veggies, but you can use any meat like bacon or sausage, or we're using pepperoni. And then we're going to take and slice mozzarella and throw a couple of them on there. And then you put your tortilla on top of that. And she didn't flip it over, but I'm going to flip it over real quick and just cook the side a little bit and slide it out on the plate and roll it up. And then you can dunk it in your marinara or your whatever sauce that you have. The reason we're using a block of cheese, we usually would get the shredded. Every shredded cheese has, it'll say not cellulose, but like cellulite and some other added ingredient that keeps it from clumping and is a preservative that is really bad for you. It's poison, but the one that's like cellulite, or it's not cellulite, it's something like that though, and it starts with a C. It's actually wood shavings. I told Doug, I go, oh, go ahead and get the shredded. I said, I've come accustomed to eating wood. No, not really, and I'm allergic to wood products, even toilet paper. So, yeah. Like even holding this, it makes my fingers itchy. It does, but it's the truth. I can feel it. It's like, I was watching it and it was really good. It was a different type of therapy, more a spiritual mode of taking care of yourself, because talk therapy doesn't always work, and it isn't a practice that you have actual tools or ideas like prayer, meditation, or different things like psyching yourself out and that type of thing, where you can actually boost your spirit, by saying good things to yourself or whatever. I've only started listening to this guy, so I'm not really. I I have a trust for him though. When you just meet somebody and you just have a feeling of, hey, I like this person. And I thought this might be somebody my son might be able to appreciate with his techniques. His name's Mihai. And his channel is called Circle of Being. And he had one that I watched that was called Watch This Video before booking a session with him. And it was his intro to his stuff. But then before that, I had watched, this was maybe the second or third one I had watched of his, was called Effort versus Effortlessness on Conscious Labor. So like you're actually working to get, I think I shared it too. But anyway, you're actually like working towards goals. Like if you have like a tendency to, like if you're crabby on Mondays. I know some people, a person I know is rather crabby on Mondays. So I keep that in mind, just like with the narcissists. I keep it in mind that it's never for them a stable thing. Their happiness isn't on a stability. And when you're around somebody like that, you could be the happiest person in the world, and with somebody that you care about and you love them and they're crabby, and it's going to affect you, and it could be an intentional thing, like an actual narcissistic attack on you, you know. And that's kind of what I was talking about the other day, is keeping aware that these people do these things, and if if you are not in the frame of mind to go no contact completely with the person that is like that in your life, and you are dealing with them even in a therapeutic manner, if that's kind of what your thing is, just keep it in mind that they I'm not going to say they fake their happiness, but they can and they often do. these are really usually some really depressed, if not manically depressed people, or sadistic, you know. So yeah, keep that in mind. If they have patterns where they are like the push-pull thing, like I love you today, but then tomorrow something happens and like you don't think you did anything, and you probably didn't. Not out of the norm of what you'd ever do every day, but somehow something within a conversation or some kind of scenario goes like totally haywire, and you think to yourself, if somebody did that to me, how would I handle it? And if you know that you would handle a situation different than what you're being confronted with, and if you know that you've dealt with people in your life in those same type of scenarios, and you worked it out like two adults or friends or, whatever it is, you know that you're capable of functioning in that way. So don't beat yourself up about, you know, um, their torment, you know. So, somebody called. Doug's like, what do you want? Yeah, we just had somebody call a while ago here, and he's got things for sale, like car parts and cars or trucks or whatever it is. And so he called a number back, and they had to get some supervisor on the line or something, and told them that they never called our house, but their number was in the caller ID. It's like, wow, okay, I think it's for me, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I'm not available right now anyway. He screens my calls. I like it that way, you know. So anyway, I'll let you know if I like this leave-in conditioner. So far I do. I can't remember what it's called. I got too many different ones, so yeah. Actually, I said I think I got 5 of them. Maybe 6. Yeah, I wanted to stock up on that. And then I got one other thing that I've been wanting to try. It's a shampoo and conditioner bar. So it's not a liquid shampoo. For like traveling or the gym or something that said on it. But they just had a regular one too. Without the conditioner, they were out of that one. So yeah, but I've been wanting to try those. It's like, well, cool, you don't have to have those bottles of junk all over the place, and a piece of cardboard is burnable. That's absolutely cool. I'm not going to use it right away, or I don't think so. But yeah, I'll let you know about that too, what I think about that. I think it's an awful good idea. I think it's really weird it comes from China, you know, that we have Chinese products and we allow Chinese to buy our property in the United States, and all these tyrannous type things that our tyrannical government, their illegal selves, what they do to the rest of us. Yeah, sick. saw Biden had a clip that he was complaining that he called shrinkflation with the size of ice cream containers. We don't care about your ice cream, you old stupid. You know, you go and spend money for people rebuilding their countries when they bomb each other, and you participate in murder and use our name and our funds for that. You think I care about his ice cream? Not hardly. You jerk. Maybe he should just choke a little bit. Not to death, but just like a little chokey every time he eats ice cream. And Satan can say, "You're the one who signed the papers for the wars. Choke on that," every time he takes a lick of his ice cream. Really? That's a good idea. Anybody else feel like that about the world leaders? I bet you do. Maybe not as strongly as I feel about it, but I was born into being a ward of the state as an orphan, and I haven't liked them ever since. So I had one judge that I met in my life when I went to get emancipated from my parents that was a decent human being, you know? As far as I know. You never know, though. You know, what I would think about somebody at the age 17 and what I'd think of them at 65 is probably a lot different, you know, perhaps. He's probably, I don't know, maybe he's alive. I don't know. If he is, he's probably about as old as that old guy at the DMV today. Funny guy. It was painless. That was pretty cool. Nice. I said hi. A couple people said hi. And one, she was just too snooty. I just couldn't do it. I looked at her a couple times and I was going to say something and I just could not. I just couldn't. You know, it's your instincts, you know. That's, you know, maybe that's the name of my video because I just couldn't break the ice. I didn't want to try. I just was not going to lower myself to that look I was getting. It's like, no, God, don't tell me to do that. No way. You do it. Find somebody else to do it. I'm sick of doing this. I do it all the time. You know? Oh, no. There's just something. I don't know what. I know what, but yeah, anyway. Sometimes I forget that look. Dang. You know? Yeah. I watched a good, Sam Bachman's Meet Your Ego from his Nothingness Antidote to Narcissism channel. He wrote under it a little bit, I'll read. The ego is a much misunderstood psychological construct. Watch this compilation to dive deep into its mystery. So yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. So anyway. how many of you believe that instincts and it's just a feeling, and somebody else was talking about it too on the level like when you have somebody staring at you and you don't see them but you can just feel it, and then you'll turn around and they're just staring at you and you just felt it, you know. I watched a creepy show. I've got to add it to my list of creepy family shows with extremely dysfunctional families. And one of them is Afflicted. I think I had, what is the name of that? I can't think of it right now. Last night I watched this one called The Merciful. It was in 2022. It's a thriller, and it's got some of the mountains like in Idaho, and I lived right between Montana and Idaho, really up close by Canada. Worked at a place called Lolo Hot Springs. It was like a big resort and pool, hot springs, campground, hotel, nightclub type, and restaurant and a country store. A beautiful place, really beautiful. But this was some of that scenery, and that is a freaky show. I'm still trying to think of the other third one. Well, I've seen a lot of really dysfunctional family, but if you want to see what I'm talking about, watch the movie Affliction and this one last night called The Merciful. It surprised me. It's sort of like and I'm not really much into like the Walking Dead type of thing, and there wasn't a lot of that in there. It was like a couple incidents because they're up in the mountains mostly. He does go down into town, but it's a very strange movie. Yeah, that other one, I can't think of it right this second. And the reason why I have a conflict going on in my brain right now, trying to think of the name of the movie, and at the same time we had the motor out of the truck that was in this movie that I'm trying to think of, and I can't think of it right now. It's a big black Chevy in a truck. Shoot. You might know the movie anyway. These guys, I think two of them I think they're brothers, or maybe they're just best friends, but they all get this money, like, it's like, I think the feds had some money, and somehow they got it. I don't know if they had to kill to get it, or what it was. But in the end, none of them ended up with any of it, and all because of greed and just the way they were, you know, and it's, and I can't think of the name of the dang thing. Oh, well. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But that's up on my list of creepy movies, too. But, yeah. I like Affliction because it doesn't have the, Walking Dead baloney thing in there. I mean, people kind of are anyway. And then if they're violent, they act animalistic, or if they're, you know, afflicted in other ways. But this father and this son were so much alike. That basically was the whole premise of the whole movie, aside from being thoroughly dysfunctional. And I won't tell you, like, what happened to the mom and everything. Watch the movie. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's a trip. I'll give you a hint of how he is. He's sitting in his chair, this old dude, and he's got like a bottle of, oh, I don't know if it's Jim Beam or whatever it is, and he's taking a shot and whatever, and he's like, the way he talked is like, I didn't harm a hair on that woman's bleepity bleep head or whatever. Just weird things. And if you watch the movie, you'll see why that's important, and I can't give it away, but I mean, it's just all so much like what I had been around, not by choice, but just some weird people that are, they're wicked. That's all you can say about it. They're wicked, you know. When you harm other people, you're wicked. There's no candy coating that, you know. So, still trying to think of that movie. Anyway, maybe I'll get it before I shut this down. And it's a simple plan. I was going to say it's so easy. It's called A Simple Plan. That's a pretty darn good movie. It really is. A simple plan. Yeah. It sort of tripped me out. Just people's greed, the way they are, you know. So, yes, I'm glad I got that. Remembered it. So I'm going to get this uploaded, and it basically, what I'm thinking about today is just our instincts, you know, and that's, don't forget to use them. They're real, you know. If you think somebody's kind of just being nice to you for their own benefit and they're nasty a whole bunch of the time, believe it. Just all we can do is try and have a good day, regardless of what's going on around us, you know, and keep just doing that. So, okay, everybody, thank you for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day, wherever you're at.